Hey, this is Gene. I want to talk a little bit about Rogue One and the agenda that I'm seeing. Normally, I would talk about this on my other channel when it talks about movies, but this has got more of an agenda to it. So I decided to put it over here, and I have a few more subscribers over here. 8 to 62. It's not a whole lot more, but it's a little bit more. And before I start. I want to bring up something I saw this morning, and I'll comment on that and how it kind of like ties into what I have to say. It came from John Flickinger, who runs or who runs the Flick Pick channel. He reviews movies. He also has like vlogs, and he's a good overall good YouTuber. Very funny, a lot of sarcasm going on. But recently Chris Stuckmann and Jeremy Jahns have been more hurt about Star Wars. All of them had rated that movie the best movie of the year. They got some flack from people like me. And now they're kind of like, I don't know, they're cabineting a lot of stuff right now and replying to stuff instead of just letting it go. John has done this, Chris has done this, and Jeremy has done this, and it's part of the it's part of the generation. At some point, they're going to respond because I don't know, they have to. There was the one that really got me upset was last week. John responded to a comment from somebody, and he basically told him in his response to him that he can go, he was going to go fuck his mother. And I had to respond to him and say that I felt that it was kind of childish for him to do that he should just chill on it. And then he responded back to me and said that when somebody did what he did, that they're scum, so he did what he had to do. Hey, you have free speech? Not really on Twitter. I mean, obviously, if you say something about Muslims, you might get knocked off. But, so that's fine. But him and Chris and Jeremy have been really just their tweets and stuff are just are trying to nig against the people that were against him on Star Wars. So this brings me to today. After watching Rogue One and then seeing a really good review of it from one of the guys I follow about the feminist overtones in the trailer, I was like, yeah, well, he did what he had to do. I don't really I had to go online and give my 2 cents. But when somebody actually supported, since he had probably about 10,000 subscribers, and now he comes out and basically tries to do, like a lot of people do, to say he's the good man, that he's the other men that might say things like this, those are misogynists and they all hate women, but I'm a good man. And this is something that I rail against a lot in my videos, that the reason why we don't get where we need to be is because other men shame us all the time. So I want to show you this. It's like maybe 15, 16 seconds of what he said on his review of Rogue One, which of course he loved. And I had no problem with the movie other than obviously the overtones that you would see in the movie. And like I said, I'll also put down the other person's review of that. It's better than I can do. Of course, he's got editing Star Wars, and he was talking about different, and he said the same thing I would have said. So I think that that's the one you probably want to watch. But after we talk about what John said, then I'm going to go in and say, why is this going on in the Star Wars universe? And is now the Force gynocentric? So that's what I talk about. So let me get this. I had to put on an iPad, my other iPad. Hopefully you'll see it well, and I'll try to do this well, and then we'll have discussion after that. And if you end up, obviously I only have 62 people, but if you end up going to his website, just be civil. And if you come here and you're from his website because somehow you got this, I would ask you to be civil as well. I'll have conversations with you in the comments. I have a Twitter feed. My name is out there. You can say, I live in Florida, so you're not going to do anything to me. So if you want to have a discussion about this, we can. But here is the little piece from the video. I was there when John was thin too, and now he's huge, like fucking Ferrigno. So I salute him on that, but I can't salute him on this. So here we go.
This female strong character. And there's a running theme with every new Star Wars movie. They all have beautiful brunettes that play strong, empowered female leads. We had Rey with The Force Awakens, and now we have Jyn with Rogue One. And I'm okay with that. I'm not a male misogynist pig. I love women. Empower them and make them go kick some ass in the Star Wars galaxy. I like that.
Okay. A lot of that probably didn't have any issues with. But when those little words that come out, I love women, and I'm not a misogynist. These are the type of things that are thrown in the faces to people when we have a factual, rational debate on, let's just say, the Force Awakens, and we say, hey, it was apparent to me that there were very feminist agendas, overtones in the movie. It's there. I'm not the only person to talk about it. A lot of people have. Rey's character was not thought out well. It wasn't written well. She was a Mary Sue. Whether or not people might believe that the Force is what did it for her, she was. So when people have this, they're going to be always crazy people that really hate women, which is like less than 0.00000% of people that actually hate women are actually misogynists. Most of this is just they didn't like where it went in the Star Wars universe. They didn't like the fact that she wasn't challenged in anything. And then she got everything so quick when guys that were basically born from the Force, like Anakin, had to actually do things, had to have the Force behind him, actually failed several times before they became, quote-unquote, a Mary Sue as well. Same with Luke as well. So that doesn't make people misogynist, John. It doesn't make us sexist, Chris or Jeremy. It just doesn't. This is a valid criticism of the Star Wars universe and how it's been written. Now, there is no question that J.J. Abrams is a avowed feminist. He hired screenwriters and other people on his staff who are feminists. There are hundreds of articles about Rey as a feminist hero, that they realize that this is what this movie is. There are even articles out there today, the new character is looked at as a feminist hero. So to sit there and say that there's nothing here, that there is no agenda, and not looking at the facts that there is. Now, I still watched the movie. I saw the areas that clearly have some sort of feminist overtone, but I let it go and I watched the movie. I gave it an 8 out of 10. So in my mind, it's still a good movie, but it wasn't a great movie. It wasn't the best movie of the year. So when I responded to these guys, when they all gave it number 1, and I said there's no reason why it could be. Now, if you're all fanboys, that's fine. You can say that. But each of you had the same caveat that, was your best, it was subjective, and this is your best movie experience of the year, and so far I had to do it that way. That's fine, but I'm going to disagree that it's not the best movie of the year. And if I say the next paragraph that I have a problem with the character development of Rey because she's a Mary Sue, it doesn't make me a misogynist. It doesn't make people that think the same way sexist just because the lead character is a female. The truth is, in this Luke trailer, in the Force Awakens, they're mostly androgynous. They're not really sexual at all. They have they don't look like females anyway. So it has nothing to do with gender. Now, it has to a point, because we know that the people that write this, the people who are behind it, are feminists. And why are they trying to push this agenda? If they have enough people go to the movie, they'll just let it go. I mean, it's been a thing that's been going on for a long time, how to basically bash men in movies and on TV. So this is nothing new. So whatever. But But what I really want to talk about in this, after talking about that, is the force, is it gynocentric? I wouldn't think it was before. Now, I bring this up because my daughter, who's a feminist, but she's a good feminist apparently. So, again, she's another person that's not really informed about what feminist theory is and what they feel, how they view men. But she said that maybe it's just the force just willing it so Ray would reap the benefit of it, kind of like Anakin in the pod race or something like that, that was the force. And I said, oh, well, that's an interesting way to look at it. I don't really agree with that, but okay, I'll just say that that's possible. It's clear that Ray has the force in her. Is there any proof that this new one does that? Because apparently she can beat up stormtroopers. She has her own type of stick like Ray had. And you see in the trailer, again, this is just one trailer, all the guys around him are being killed. You saw men that were pilots are in shackles, but apparently she can be belligerent to the person in charge. She can say rebel, and the woman is like the leader. She's like, yeah, you go, girl. Okay, if that's the way it's going to be, that's fine. But if I call it out, and it's clear, it doesn't make me a misogynist. It doesn't say I hate women. It has nothing to do with that. To me, this is very bad storytelling. It's like looking at Transformers. All these guys, I'm not going to say it, they raped Bay when it came to character development, the script, and everything else like that. But no one would have said that that's misogynist in any way. Why? The issue is if I say the same thing and it happens to be that there's a female lead or a protagonist, now that means I'm a misogynist. The point I'm trying to make is simply this. They are. It isn't like they're basically. If you look at the Force Awakens, all the trailers didn't really have that type of agenda. Of course, we saw the movie and we saw it. Now the first trailer, it's clearly there. It's like, okay, we didn't do anything in the first Star Wars, the trailers, but the movie was so huge, so we can go ahead and take the veil out even more, and we can say this is our agenda. And it's not like they're hiding it, because, like I said before, there are hundreds of articles talking about it. And when they talk about the JJ, he says, "Well, I want to have gay people in my universe. I want to have more of this and that and more of that." And I'm like, why? Is there any reason for it? You don't have to put it out there. If you want to just explore that there might be two people that have the same sex in Star Wars, okay. But is that all about that? I mean, there's very little romantic type of thing that goes on. And why do you have to put it out there? And a lot of people like me don't really need that, you know. Of course, of me saying that means I'm against trans or I'm against gay people, which is kind of stupid because both my daughters are. So, and I'm a progressive in a lot of these areas. And this comes all back to what's happening to the left and how gender identity, politics, and how you shut down dissent, especially from people maybe from my generation. Even although there are a lot of people of the same generation that Jeremy and we'll call them millennials, that they're against this type of how they shut down debate, and they use these words. They like to say misogynist. They like to say you're sexist. They like to say you're racist. With the Muslims, it's Islamophobia. This is how they shut out the debate. And then they go on Twitter and they'll get your account shut down. Or if I say something on YouTube, they might have put me down with a strike and I can't continue on with what I want to say. Look, I have no voice, really. I have 62 subscribers. These guys combined have over 2 million subscribers. So this is where I get upset, and I'm going to tell you why I get upset. I wanted to talk about how force being gynocentric, and I'll try to get to that. In my videos, I don't script anything. So now I'm here, I'm going to say it. These three guys have a huge platform. And you know what? They don't have to do a damn shit about what I'm saying. They can just say, well, that I don't really care about that. I'm just going to do what I have to do here. But I remember when Jordan was so famous, and a lot of people later on said, he had that huge platform that he could do something about it. Ali did it. Definitely, I don't believe everything that Ali believes, but he used his platform to do what he had to do. These guys have that. These are people that are in that age group where their brothers are killing themselves 4 times more than women. They're at that same. None of them are married. Well, actually, Chris is. He found a fundamental wife, which is great for him. And it was great that how she supports him and how she wears the headdress for him. That's great that he found that. But let me tell you this, Chris. If you get married or you get divorced, I'm not risking it on you. She's taking half, all right? And if you have any kids, good luck with trying to see your kids as much as she does. Like I said, I'm not putting it on you at all, but this is how life is. And people like me that advocate for men in these areas have been told the same thing that John said this morning, and all we were doing was commenting on a movie that were misogynists, that were sexist, that were racists. And I'm sick and tired when it comes, especially from your generation, from men that should be supporting men in these areas, and you have this flat platform and nothing comes from it. Now, a couple times, Jeremy's been out there longer, or he's had more support, let's say. And a couple times I've heard him say things, and I think that he's more almost like a MGTOW. Even though he has girlfriends and stuff like that, I think that he understands some of these areas. And maybe he doesn't want to get involved with that because clearly he gets butthurt when people said things about Star Wars. Just like Chris did, and so did John's get butthurt. At some point, you guys have become like the Tumblr feminists. You can't take care, you can't deal with criticism. And then when you know that somebody is trolling you, why don't you just let it go? Why respond to something like that? If you have a problem with what I say that you don't know what you're talking about, that I know more about movies than you, or whatever. That's fine. I'm not going to call you back like what John did. I'm not going to text or tweet you back and say, I'm going to go fuck your mother. I mean, that doesn't do anything other than people will laugh at you and think it's funny, and it'll just do something to your ego, which is already huge because this is what you do for a living, which I support. I've been on all your guys' channels forever. So, but I just apparently somebody has to actually inform them. I guess I'm an older guy, so I'm going to have to do it. Again, the life that you live, or reality in your life, is that most men don't give a shit about Star Wars. Okay, but in our 4 or 5 minutes of the day, we think about it and say, man, that was like looking at a feminist movie there. I mean, it's kind of weird that they showed that like that. Why are they doing that? Why is Finn, why is she not taking Finn's hand? And then all of a sudden, he takes her hand because she didn't want it for the first 2 times. I mean, there's an agenda there. So let me get back to Star Wars and the idea of whether now in the new Star Wars universe that the Force itself is gynocentric, and I think it is. I think that basically that the Force is going to uplift all the people from marginal groups or women. They'll be the protagonists, and they'll be the heroes, and they'll never die, and they'll be lauded for everything, and they'll never really face any real obstacles. Why they want to do that, I don't know. I think the right thing to do, the smart thing to do in Rogue One is at the end of the movie, because maybe I missed something. She doesn't show up in any of the other ones, episode 4, 5, and 6. So I'm assuming she must die. So that would be, to me, that would take some balls to kill the hero, female person at the end. And I hope that that's the case. I mean, what else could they do? Is she just not going to be a rebel anymore? Is she going to be fat? Whatever. Is she going to be the other guy? A bad person at the end? I don't know. Anything would be better than what happened to Rey. There was no character development. She just apparently something in their brain woke up, just kind of like R2-D2. He woke up and he was fine. Same thing happened to her, and she can beat Kylo Ren, even though whatever. I mean, I don't want to go into that anyway. So I'm going to say that probably is, and the question is, am I going to support it? Well, I'll probably go see these movies because from a movie standpoint, they're still entertaining. So I'll probably go see it. But before I before I leave, a lot of people will say things. They'll say that you're misogynist and stuff when you have your opinions, and they try to shut us down. But the thing is, I have to defend myself and say that I love strong female characters, like Ripley from Aliens, Sarah Connor on that in Terminator series, not the new one, but before that. Those were strong women, realized that they had faults, did what they had to do, realized, especially in Sarah Connor's. At first she was like, she was a woman that couldn't really do anything, and then she kind of changed because she had to, because the things changed around her, and she adapted. And that's what we want to see. We're not seeing that now. We're just basically saying, okay, you have these abilities. Certainly, recently, I really liked Lucy. Now, a lot of people didn't like the movie, but I did. Also, Under Her Skin, same actress. She's also in the Avengers movies. You can have it, but you don't have to continually put the undertones of feminist theories or how to basically look at men, especially white men, and just be belligerent to them or say, I want to do what I'm going to do, become a rebel and all that stuff. Is that what the new thing is to say, I'm going to be loud and proud and all that stuff, like Melissa McCartney in her movies that are, I mean, everybody said Spy was a good movie. It was good for about 30 minutes, but the whole second half of that was her being stupid. And is that what this is now? Is that what we want? But okay, maybe it's past me. I don't understand it. But there is no doubt that Star Wars and Disney has an agenda here. So anybody that really looks online, they could see that Disney this is not the first time they have an agenda before. They put stuff in their cartoons that are sexual in nature, but we still go see it because, this is what we do. But at the end of the day is this. It gets kind of old when I have an opinion, and the first thing I get back, a lot from women, but a lot of them are from men, whether they're white knighting or not, that they just want to call me a misogynist because apparently I hate women, when I love all these other great female characters. Like the final girl, I love that trope. Usually at the end of these movies, it's the women that are smarter, and they end up killing the stalker type of thing. And that's almost a genre that's predominantly viewed by men, because we love the idea of a strong female character, but we don't like the fact that the feminist shit is being in our face while we're seeing it, or that we're going to have to look every white man being stupid or look like buffoons and all other stuff, when that it's just that it gets on your nerves. Yes, it's just a movie, but you look on everyday TV commercials and see how they portray men, and compare that to how they compare women. So when it comes back to the whole thing about, is the Force gynocentric? In this new Star Wars universe, it is. But it's part of the system and the culture we have right now in the West, that we are gynocentric. So I guess Star Wars will have to be as well. That's all I have today. If you have any comments, let me know below. Again, if you're from John's channel or Jeremy's or Chris, welcome. I don't know that you ever come here, but if you do, welcome for being here. And we can have a debate in comments, or you can tweet me at ManuFanatic99, and we can have that debate. Other than that, you guys have a good day.